What's up, everybody? We are here today with two of my personal favorite guys, Kenneth Harris. You want to be called Kenny or Kenneth?
Man, Kenny, man.
All right, Kenny Harris and Philip Johnson of Magnolia Property Solutions. They are contractors. First of all, what is a contractor? So we hear that a lot. Is that fencing, roofing? What is a contractor?
Well, I mean, it's different levels to it. You know, it just depends on the field of expertise. You got general contractors, you got subcontractors, you got people that specify in specific trades. Uh, we personally general contractors, so basically we are the main umbrella that house all the trades.
Okay, so multiple trades under one umbrella. And we're gonna start at the beginning. What were you guys doing before? Well, first of all, how old is Magnolia? How many years have y'all been in business?
7 years.
7 years.
7 years.
It's 7, 8. That's 8 years.
8 years?
Y'all been in this business for 8 years, but what were y'all doing before this? You had to be a contractor, had to be a roofer, a fencer, or something.
None of that.
None of it. My background is delivery driver. Been doing it for 15 years. But at the time, I think was really, trying to, I would say, figure out what I really want to do in life and not have all my eggs in one basket. And so this guy gave me a call and they said, hey, I need some information from him. And we just started from there.
And we're gonna get the more detail that part. Philip, what your background?
I was in multifamily maintenance, so I was the maintenance man at your apartment complex, riding around on the golf cart, doing a little work, doing a little nutty. But yeah, I was in multifamily maintenance.
Okay, so tell me, Kenny, you said Philip called you, so that means Philip, you're the founder of the company. You started.
Kind of so. I mean, we started around the same time because I was in a position where I needed his information to aid in starting the company. So we founded around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not the type of organization that throw titles. I mean, we know our ownership and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, we work in the company. So we both founders. We both, if you want to put CEO title, we both the CEO.
Both the CEO. So why did we choose contracting? Why did you guys choose to start your own business?
Well, I mean, specifically contracted. I mean, I was already exposed to this space, working in multifamily maintenance, dealing with different companies and different contractors coming out to service the properties that I worked at. But with us specifically starting in the multifamily industry, it was just because of what I saw in terms of what services were being provided in exchange for the price that was being charged. I just thought it didn't make sense. And so some of these guys were robbing these properties, doing subpart work. And so when I saw the opportunities there, it was a field that I already knew about. I already knew most of the people in the industry, so it just made sense for us. I mean, for me, I always knew that I was going to be doing some type of entrepreneurship. I didn't know what it would be, but it was always in the plans for me to kind of work for myself.
So it was found a pain point, which is pricing,
Yep.
And fill that gap, basically.
Yeah, basically.
The industry that you are.
Yeah, and to your point, a cheat code for me was I already knew the industry, so I already knew the pain points was price, and I knew it was scheduling, I knew it was customer service, and being able to reach, the people that you need when you need them most. And response time and service issues is a big deal. But I knew all of that, so I had all the cheat codes to, kind of take off on that side in terms of trying to grow the business.
Okay, so what was that moment when you said, you can answer this too, kid, that you said, I'm done working. Well, I'm finished. I'm done. Did you put it in 2 weeks? How did that work?
For me, and his gonna be a little more lengthy than mine, but for me, I kind of got forced into it. So I mean, we were already kind of operating. We were doing seasonal LSU turns, kind of how you know about, which is
for anybody that don't know, a turn is basically a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's when the students are preparing the housing for the students to move back in, basically. So all the painting and maintenance inside of a home in, what is it, a week or 2 weeks?
Like 2.5
weeks. Like 2.5 weeks. So how many units on average? Yeah. On that
50, 60 bedrooms a day.
50, 60 bedrooms a day. You have to get that done in 2.5 weeks. So yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
On top of that, it's 3 properties as well. So that's almost 150 beds a week in a day. So
did it start with 50 properties? I mean, not 50 properties, 3 properties.
No, we started with one, and then went from 1 to 3, right?
We did from 1 to 2, 1 to 4, and now we kind of stick within the 3 is our sweet spot for right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. You found a pain point. You knew the market. Did you call you 2 weeks? I really want to know about the 2 weeks.
No, not for me. Like I say, I got forced into it. Like I said, we were doing the seasonal turn like we were talking about, and I mean, I was working.
So the seasonal turn. So y'all established the company. You were working on Magnolia while you were working at the apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we started while we started and worked this company for probably at least 2.5 years before either one of us decided to go full time.
Gotcha.
And so during that time, at first we were just doing the seasonal project, and then we make our money. We go do a couple of residential jobs every now and then, but the seasonal project was it. It was just to go make the money and let's go back to our lives. And like I said, I remember I was forced into it. I was working for a great job, great pay. I was a salesman. I dressed down to the nine, and all I did was went and talked to people and got business for my company. And so I remember specifically, everybody got certain sales goals and stuff. I extended my sales goal, and it was around December, I think, for the fourth quarter or last month. My goal was down by like $30,000 for the month. Now my goal for the year, I had surpassed it by like $500,000. So I really could have. They should have let me take off, but they didn't. So I remember to this day, it was December 18, 2018. I got an email from my manager saying basically, because you didn't meet your quota for the month, we're not gonna give you your check on December 18th, which is a week before Christmas.
Even though you surpassed it for the
goal was surpassed. All my clients were said we had worked out the butt. But because I didn't hit that last month, I guess to meet their internal quotas, my check got cut on December 18th. You know how some of us do with Christmas, man. We don't go shopping till the 22nd. So I'm fired on December 8th. Well, not fired, but I'm presented with an ultimatum of, you're doing great, but you didn't do great this month, so we're not gonna pay you the check. Right. And so me thinking, I'm like, ain't no way in the world if you're gonna do this to me. I'm your second top salesman at the time. I'm about to go in here and tell y'all you're gonna give me my check, or I'm walking out of here, expecting to get my check. So I go in there and I say, look, y'all know what I can do. Y'all know what I have done. Y'all came and got me for this organization. So your option is give me my check, or I'm packing up, getting out of here. Went back to my office thinking that I was gonna get an email saying your check gonna be ready at the end of the day. I got a text saying thank you for your time. Wow. And so I was forced out. And so but I think it's a blessing though, because I can't say that I would have just jumped out from that great cushion job to pursue something that I had no idea if it was gonna work. So it was a blessing in disguise, but I cried for a couple of days. Yes. Yeah, what I'm gonna do? I got 2 houses. One that they pay rent sometimes they don't. So I got to cover that rent. I got family, I got kids. I'm the support of my whole family. So what I'm gonna do without a job? So it was scary for me, but you got to take the chance. He can tell you his side.
Like I said, mine's gonna be a little lengthy, but I'll cut it down a little short. But been at this job for 15 years. Never had another job. Been there since I graduated in high school. My mom, she lost her job September 3rd, 2009. I started the next job. Well, my first job, October 10th, 2009. And that's all I did for 15 years. And out of those 15 years, probably 3.5 of them, I was actually hurt. And it was a situation where got injured. Yep, got injured on the job. Torn a ligament in my wrist. Also had a strained meniscus also in my knee. And my wife pretty much just came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm tired of you getting hurt. Like, what we gonna do? Because if you get hurt and you can't get back on the truck, then what we gonna do?" So it's like, all right. So
this after how many? This after the 50.
This is after I got hurt 21. So yeah, that was 4 years ago, the first injury. And so after the second injury, it was like, okay, we need to start like making more decisions on like what we're gonna do in the future for you. And so I'm like, okay. But I go back to 2013, I had a guy who was a driver. He always told me, he was like, Ken, like, you gonna make good money, but don't have all your eggs in one basket. And so I I I listen to people. I really take heed on, I guess, older men, black men for sure. Um, and I always had it in the back of my head. And so came to a situation where I was at work and I just felt uncomfortable that whole day. And I just called my wife and I'm like, hey, I think this is it. I can't do it. Um, I don't I guess you can say I'm in a different era in my life where my kids and my family, they mean a lot to me. So in this situation with the job, I'm not able to be with my family. When I'm working for myself, I'm able to do everything with my family. So it's kind of like, um, do you want to stay comfortable or do you want to be uncomfortable for a little while and work things out and um I'm a big believer in God, so I trust him.
Let me ask you this: were you coming to Magnolia, making that decision to come to Magnolia from your job? Were you taking a pay cut?
No,
Okay.
I didn't think about that. No, I'm not. I wasn't taking, but you know, we all know we stay in America. Insurance is high. The company provided free health care. Now I have to pay for it. So it's like a double-edged sword, but it's like, do you want to be a family man and be a real man and just pay for it? Or be comfortable and go somewhere that you don't like going there every day? Nobody's happy. Yeah. So it's like, I'll just be the man, that I've grown to be now. And so but once I realized that last day, I went in there, say, hey, it was a good 15 years. I appreciate y'all. I wouldn't be here without you guys. So they accepted it and I told them, I came in the office and I was like, hey, we're done.
I know what they were saying. Kenny crazy. About 5 more years retirement.
And I'll say this, when this was recent when he did this, but I took a pay cut when I came full time. I took a substantial.
Business. When you came in for the business, what
we were in the trenches. I mean, we still are in the trenches, but we were heavy in the trenches. I sold and I worked.
Yep.
Like I would sell a paint job, and I'm the one in there painting it.
Yeah.
I would sell a clean, and I'm in there trying to clean it too.
That was my next thing. When it came down to those first months, first year of working, you were doing the work.
Yeah, I was doing the work.
I'm answering the phones.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm on the truck answering the phones. You doing the work.
I'm the field guy.
So you have relationships. So is that how you said that's how you get those jobs?
Yeah, I think that was my cheat code. I mean, it's the relationship that I had already established, one from the prior company, because those were the same clients. We just provided different services. So I provided what I thought was pretty good service working for the other company. So it was an easy transition for them to say, okay, let me take a chance on Philip, because I already know that if I call him for this or that or whatever it is, when he's with the other company, he'll take care of it. So it was easy in that aspect of, because I already had the name of Philip, called Philip if you need him.
So it's a gem in that. I mean, it's a gem in that. It's no matter where you are, even on your job, before you even start working for yourself, you provided a great enough service to have a great name.
Yeah.
No matter where you move, you could have moved to another company, could have worked for yourself. You provided great service and had your name stood held weight more than the company.
Definitely.
So to where you can walk back through those doors for yourself.
Yeah, they didn't know who Magnolia was, because at the time we weren't even Magnolia. We were PK, wasn't it? Did we start as PK?
We started as Protect.
Protect. Yeah. So we went through so many different elevations of this company. Yeah, so I mean, they didn't, regardless of the name, but they didn't know who that was. That's just some guy telling me they know how to paint. They got a van outside my office. They're running hot. Two guys. I'm gonna be honest, two guys that look like ex-cons. Yeah. Some of the best guys, and I appreciate them to this day. But we had to take what we can get. So they were really taking some huge risks on letting us come in there and service their properties, not knowing who we were. So it as a company, they know who we were. So it was definitely everybody was taking a risk.
So what does that look like with the guys? You say you got your guys working for you. how did you get your first two guys to come work for you? Are we on Indeed? Or?
No, back in that day, we were in the Craigslist times.
Yes. Okay.
I was Craigslist time. So, and I'll say this, Craigslist was for the more, American guys, and then not to play the race card, but a lot of guys that work in our industry are Hispanic and they of that nationality. So, I mean, there were plenty of times you can catch my truck at Home Depot parking lot trying to get my next two employees, because we didn't have full-time work to where I could hire a full-time guy. I didn't have work Monday through Friday at the time, so I couldn't get a guy to come off another job to come work for me when he might work Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday. I don't have anything for it.
Yeah.
So we found success and success and failure in going grab these guys, making sure we got the best of the best that are in that parking lot, making sure if they're not documented, they got some type of paperwork to where we can send paperwork in on them, and we rolled that way. And we failed, we succeeded, and we still do it to this day, but that's how we started in terms of getting our first two guys.
So we picking these guys up from Home Depot, and we have to have paperwork on them. So we write with the taxes and things of that nature.
Now, in the beginning, we're gonna keep it real. They all work. Some of them like I don't have it, but if I got a job that needs to be done by 3:00,
yeah,
we gonna figure it out. So we're not gonna sit there and lie like we had all that straight in the beginning. But for the most, we tried to start off doing everything right. But you got time where you just got to get it done. So we check them. You got paperwork. We'll sign your little paperwork for you. You can get in there, sign your 1099. Let's go to work. Your W-9. Let's go to work. But
So what paperwork was that? Because it's somebody out there that's going to want to start
W-9. It's W-9. Subcontract.
So subcontractors, and if you have W-2 employees, you give them a W-4 form.
Okay, so W-9 for contracted employees, which are the people basically you're picking up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so when did we start? Well, first, can we know the conversation between you two? What did you need from him in the beginning to start it?
Well, I mean, because I worked in the industry, you have to go through compliance with your company. So when you go to these properties and say, "Hey, I want to work for y'all," your business has to be in compliance with their regulations. So they don't request your tax information, not tax information, they're gonna tax your insurance information. They want our W-9 and all that kind of stuff. They want to see our Secretary of State, everything. So I couldn't send anything in there that had my name on it because I'm working for these companies. And this is when I was working at another an apartment complex, and so at the time we were setting up services at that property and some other properties. It was already a conflict of interest, but it would have been a huge conflict with my name on the business that's serving the property that I work for.
Yeah,
and so that's where he came in. We had one of my other buddies. He was in the beginning. It didn't work out, which is actually a blessing in disguise. But that's when he came in afterwards because of that, is bringing him in. And like I say, we didn't need much. I didn't need money. I didn't need anything. I needed his name. I needed his name. And so it worked out good. Just because our personalities, me and the other guy that I had, me and him are both kind of the same. And so I think we would have butt heads, kind of thinking back on it. And so he's doing very well what he got going on now. But that's how he ended up coming in the picture, was just, hey, I need a name. You don't have to come with no money. And I called him. Literally, I'm sitting in the office and I say, Kenny, just trust me, give me your social security number, your date of birth, and send me your ID. And at first he was like, what the hell you doing? So, but it wasn't a long conversation, and not to toot my own horn, but he know me.
Yeah.
Everybody around me, they know me, and I'm not trying to say it like I'm Suge Knight, but I'm known to be a decent person. So if I call you, I'm a truthful person. I don't play games like that. So if I call you for something like that, I'm not trying to go get a credit card in your name. It's for a true opportunity. So, it took 2 minutes to explain it to him, and he sent it to me. We set everything up that next day. We had insurance and everything in place. About a week later, and we were off to the races. And we set that up in June, and July 27th, we were starting our first $30,000 project.
Yeah.
Month and a half later.
Yeah. Was that turn or was that something?
That was the turn it up. Yeah, it was turn.
The first turn.
So how does that work with turn? Are the apartment complexes calling you all, or are you calling, hey, this is this?
So we go and get that business. I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, so pretty much, we shop around, we go to different properties, and, especially the properties that we don't do business at. And at the time, we trying to find something. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, again, his background, knowing that, how they turn units, it's like, hey, let's just go to this first property. Went there, talked with them, and, pretty much they just gave us a chance. But again,
details. What are you saying? Are you coming in with paperwork? Are you coming in?
Hey,
uniform down? Did you have shirts at the time?
No, we didn't get shirts until probably like year 3 or 4. We weren't really big on like, presenting ourselves as at the time it was PK. But we just went in, introduced myself, hey, Kenny Harris, we're here, we offer these services. What can we do for you? And so they just, gave us a chance. We just took that chance and, with him, that was no 24 hours a day. He slept at the apartments a long time, all like 2-3 days, just slept there just to make sure the work was just done. Because again, his name is everything at this time. So he's protecting his name and also the potential business that we can have in the future with these people.
So y'all didn't wait on the opportunity.
No.
Put ads up. You're knocking on doors. Hey, this is what we do.
Yeah. To this day, we still don't knock and shop apartment. We don't wait on a phone call. Now, we are blessed to have a decent name in the industry, and this is not to say we're perfect because we make mistakes every day, but we have a decent name to where we do get a lot of referral business is the bulk of what we do. But we just went and shop properties 2 days ago. Like we don't sit in that office all day. We out here. We go and get the work. Now we do get a lot of referral based work. We get a lot of work from the marketing stuff we do online, but most of what we get is I'm coming in your door.
Still crying after 8 years, still doing that.
Oh yeah. We are nowhere near what we plan to be. This is nothing. Where we sitting at today in a suite where we got businesses on the left and the right of us, this is nothing. You know what I'm saying? So this we probably have another, and not to even talk money, but it takes $50 million before they stop considering you a small business, and we haven't even scratched the surface of that. So yeah, this ain't nothing. Yeah, this ain't nothing.
Oh, wow. So we have we get our call. We got our $30,000 property that's turned on. But we're not gonna say what it was. 50 units a day. Did we turn profit on our first?
Yes.
Turn profit.
Yes, we did.
Do you know?
Now, do we know? No. We don't.
What does that mean?
Do we think we made profit?
Yeah.
Did we have everything in step in terms of our processes and procedures at that time to actually be able to produce a P&L and say we made this amount of money? We didn't.
We didn't.
Because at the time, all we did was, let's just say if the project was $30,000, if we spent 10 on payroll, as far as we know, we made $20,000. We didn't calculate taxes, insurance, we didn't calculate none of that there. We didn't factor in, we didn't know at the time if you got these undocumented workers and they don't have their paperwork, they W-9 filled out so you can send that to the IRS, you're responsible for their taxes. We didn't know that. So all we thought was, okay, hey, $30,000 project, we spent 10 on labor, we got $20,000 sitting in the bank. We didn't know, and I think that first profit check, I think as soon as we got it, I think
we split it.
No,
we split it. Yeah,
probably left $300 in the bank.
Yep,
and you couldn't
take it for your personal account
out of there.
Yeah,
didn't have a clue.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's why I say, do we know if we made a profit? Couldn't tell you.
Okay,
couldn't tell you.
So first project possibly could have made a profit. Maybe not. So where do we go from here? We still door knocking. When does that next project come that say, okay, we know we made a profit? Wait, first of all, what is education in this space? Because you guys know about profit and loss statements now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know how undocumented workers, what we have to do for their taxes. We have all our paperwork together later. What is education in a contracting space? How are we learning this stuff?
Trial and error, to be honest with you. A lot of it, us, how we grown up, nobody told us about CPA, nobody told us about lawyers, nobody talks to us about financial advisors, nobody talks about that. And so I think, just running to those hurdles help you really understand like what's going on and how to really run a business. So I would say, like I said, trial and error.
Trial and error. I'll tell you specifically when you get hit with an insurance audit and find out you owe $172,000, to workers' comp because you didn't appropriately present your wages, report your wages. I bet you learn.
Yeah, you learn quick.
You don't have a choice but to learn. You know what I'm saying? When you don't even know what an audit is, you don't know that if you tell general liability you expect $1 million in revenue and you make 1.5 in revenue, you don't understand that they're gonna call you at the end of the 12 months and say, hey, I need to see your books, how much money you made. Because I insured you for $1 million, but you made 1.3. So I need my insurance on that $300,000. You don't know that they're gonna send you that bill and they're gonna want their payment within 24 hours.
Yep.
So the hard money lesson. So how would one avoid that? Knowing what you all know, somebody coming under y'all and wanting to know about that, what would you advise them to do?
I would just say have a system in place. That's tracking it. You paying your 1099s, you're paying your W-2 workers. But if you're not tracking this and really doing a forecast on, maybe next year, hey, we might make more than this. So when the audit due comes and, you finish the audit, everything's good. When they come back to renew your insurance, then it's time to tell them like, okay, we're gonna make this amount of money. It might be more, and if you come short, then you already paid it throughout the year anyway, so you're good. But again, it's like just making sure you just stay on top of payroll, making sure that everybody information is always updated. I would say, and I would say get to know your people as well, because sometimes you talk to certain employees, not all the time, and maybe they have moved. You might not know that. I would say, just get to know your employees. Like, hey, what's been going on? How you doing? That, just shoot it with them and just making sure that, yeah, you hold a conversation, but you stand on top of their information as well.
And if I can add to that, what I would say, like in terms of you saying, how can you make sure people watching avoid the mistakes? Is my biggest thing is I wouldn't even start another company if I can't afford or don't have a CPA. I'm not starting a company. I wouldn't start another company without a CPA. If I can't afford to already know what my insurance costs are, I ain't starting that company. If I don't have a business mentor, and kind of like what we were talking about offline a few minutes ago, if I don't have somebody working in that space, I'm not starting that company. And the only reason being is because if we didn't have the effort and the hustle that we had and the ability for me to go get some funding in the beginning, we'd be belly up for some of the mistakes that we made. If we showed you some of the money that's going out this company for mistakes that we've made, you probably,
Lord have mercy.
It'll blow your mind, man. It'll blow your mind. And so those mistakes, I'm not gonna say they've ever put us out of business, but they had the potential to. They could have. They definitely could have. And also those mistakes, they can change your bank account, because you can go from, oh, I got $600,000, $700,000 liquid to boom, these people want $172,000 for, like, I'm going back to this audit. I got to find out a way to pay that because they not letting you payment plan. They want their money.
$172,000 up
front. Yes.
$172,000 is what they want. You know what I'm saying? So them few things I wouldn't start without it. And even if you don't have, you can't afford it. Let ChatGPT be your CPA. But just talking to somebody before you, especially when your business start going from, the first couple $100,000, it is what it is. Depending on your industry, you're probably not even profiting much, just to be honest, depending on your industry. But, it is what it is. But when you actually turn it into a business, a sustainable business that's paying your bills and sponsoring your livelihood, I wouldn't touch it without having that stuff in place.
Yep.
Have proper systems in place. Going back to paying people. So a lot of people that start business, they don't know about the net 30s, net 60s. So which basically means, explain net, let's say net 30. What does that mean?
Net 30, like, I guess we can use today. So today is the first. So if we do a job on today, we send that invoice on today. That invoice is due in 30 days. So that invoice will be due December 1st.
So in layman's terms, when do y'all get paid?
Yeah. That's the funny part. But we have some good vendors.
But
normally
you should get paid 30
days.
So if you start a project today, it'd be 30 days before you get your pay. Your check.
But I'm all right. I'm a new guy in this industry. I have 3 workers, 4, let's say 4 workers to balance the number out. I'm on the net 30. We doing the work, My people want to get paid every week. How am I paying them if I don't get paid until 30 days? And I'm not starting off with a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean that's where funding and bank availability and just cash on hand come into play. Because to your point, they not waiting 30 days. They want their check immediately. And so that's one of the things we did when we did the first project. I didn't have no money in the bank. I might have had maybe $10,000-$15,000 in the bank, but not enough to pull from my nest egg to jump into Magnolia. And so what I did specifically was I specifically remember two online banks, a credit union out here in Baton Rouge. I think it might be more Baton Rouge, but a credit union, a couple of people, and I went and got probably about $80,000 in loans in the beginning. And now, like I said, it was a safer bet for me because we already had the project lined up. We already knew, and private investors. Let's not forget our private investor that helped us out in the beginning. But we already knew what the return was on that loan, and so we knew that within 45, 60 days of completing this project, we knew that we were going to be able to pay it off. So it was a no-brainer for me to go and put the loans in my name. Like I said, just at the time, he was still working his job full time. I'm out here just trying to figure out how we're going to make it work. And so that for us, that's what we did. We went and secured the funding to do that. But you got to either have that because it's hard to get a line of credit from the bank. Yep. And we ain't going to talk about color, skin color, but it's just hard, period, getting a line of credit from the bank. It's hard, depending on your personal credit, trying to get these loans. And so you got to have either that money in the bank already or somebody you can go to, a solid investor that trusts you because your name is solid to where they'll give you that money to try to pay these bills up front until you get your payment in 30 days. Yeah. And that's preferably if you get that payment within 30 days.
And am I putting I have to get to my job. So I know you all had a van starting off with.
Mm-hmm.
Am I paying that in cash or am I financing that? Is it a personal name? Is it a business name?
It was in the business name, but it was cash, but it also was like a $900 van. Yeah. So starting off, your business don't have no credit. Yeah. You don't have no credit, so they going off you. If you have the credit score and you can personally guarantee that truck, yeah, you can go get the truck off the lot. I mean, do I advise it? Not necessarily, but and I'm not the business guru, so that could be a good idea. But yeah, we bought ours cash, and even a couple other little company vehicles we got over the years we bought cash. I think we didn't buy our first finance vehicle till probably 5 years into the business, something like that. Everything else was like just little cash vehicles, do what we needed to do.
Good job done. So we're moving forward we're ushering into new avenues. So I personally know you all pour concrete, fences. You guys are building cabinetry. How are we deciding what are we going to do next? Because it started off as paint, basically. Mm-hmm. Am I correct?
Yeah, painting the housekeeping.
Painting the housekeeping. So how are we deciding what to do next?
We tried to take advantage of 2016 flood. We tried to take advantage of that because we started the other LLC in 2017, but we had ProTech around that time, and so we were working in the multifamily industry, and we saw the flood, we saw the need. We thought at the time we could fulfill the need, and we found out quickly that we weren't ready for it. And I let Kenny talk about what happened with that, but we jumped off to some projects that we really shouldn't have jumped off into early on that caused us to scale back and be like, hey, we need to wait and learn what we're doing before we go back out there. And so after that, though, we took probably about a year and a half off in terms of like attacking those residential type projects that should give me some more time to learn what the heck I'm doing. And one thing I did is I learned on my own house. Our Magnolia's first residential renovation was my property that I'm living in currently.
Okay.
And so that's how I learned. And so at the time, you finish a house and you look at it and you think you did such a great job. And so now I look at it now in the space that we are now, and I'm like, why in the world did I let them people do this? Or why did I let them do that? Or why did I let them do that? So it's just a trial and everything. And we still don't have it perfect. We make mistakes, like I keep saying to this day, but it's all trial and error. You just got to make sure your mistakes don't put you out of business. Because you're always going to make a mistake. You're dealing with humans. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect. Our guys aren't perfect, so we're going to make a mistake. We just got to make sure that the mistake don't put us out of business. Yeah.
The 2016 flood.
Yeah, so So one thing we did know that you just can't put mailers in, people mailboxes. So we found that, yeah, we found that out real quick, and I had a buddy of mine, like I told him, I'm loyal to people that's real close to me, and he took a chance on us at the beginning, and went in there and just was trying, we just had people feel they hired some guys just to go in and, paint and drywall and just basically get his house back to normal. Which, at the end of the day, we ended up, doing it just took so long because we just didn't know that, hey, you just can't throw Joe Blow in somebody's house and expecting him to tape and because he telling you that, oh, I can float and tape. I mean, we you can't do that anymore. You got to really interview these guys and really understand like their background and making sure that they're a representation of you. And so, prayerfully and thank God, I'm still friends with them, and we're real cool, and we always joke about like, you was our first project, and he took it like I said, he always joke about it, yeah, but he allowed us to even do more work at the homes that he's had since then. So, he could have said, man, y'all messed up my house. Y'all ain't ever coming back in none of my houses. But me being Kenny, and the type of person I am, he was like, man, look, I see what y'all doing. Y'all doing better. I got this going on at this property. I got this going on at this property. Give me a price so y'all can go in there and do it. And, again, trial and error. We learned from that last mistake. Now he was a angry customer. Now, satisfied, man.
A lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error. So we're going even further than that. So I'm gonna go back to what you said about vetting your people that work for you. So what are we looking for in a contractor? I'm coming in. Hey, I can paint. How how do you measure attitude about the job? How do you measure loyalty? How do you measure these factors that say we're gonna hire this guy?
Well, it for me, because I do most of that, it really depends on the trade. Because at one time we had a full 9-man carpentry squad, and they were some of the best technical guys. I mean, they could build anything you want under the sun.
W-2s or contract?
They were a combination. And so to the point of that is the vetting process was not there. It was I had my lead guy that was he was a great guy, and he would bring in this guy that would do this guy that would do that, and just because they could do the work, we brought them in. Not knowing that, this guy might have this drug problem, this guy might have this alcohol problem, this guy got the baby mama drama, and he not coming to work. So we went through a whirlwind with a group of guys for about a year and a half. The great guys, they did some phenomenal work for us, but we went through a whirlwind of ups and downs with them just because they all had their different situations going on, and we just didn't vet them as well as we should. And so nowadays what we do is, for one, it's in our industry, it's a little hard to vet everybody because some of them speak Hispanic, Spanish and only Spanish. I don't speak Spanish yet, and so I can speak Spanish as it relates to construction, but I can't sit here and hold no whole conversation with you in Spanish. And so a lot of what we do is kind of word of mouth. If I have a great guy that works for me now, I let him do the interview. And so he'll let me know, yeah, the guy said he can do this, and that's based on kind of how we're going back to name. My guy that's with me already, we have that trust established. So, and he likes to work, and we work well together. So I know he's not going to bring a team member that's going to make it hard on him. And so the ones that don't speak Spanish, we kind of let him vet as in that supervisor role, and he'll let us know what we think, and we give him shots. But a lot of what I do is I bring them in, and if it's an unoccupied situation, I bring them in and I send them to work. That's my vetting process. You say you can do this, come on, let's go to work. Now if we're in a home or somebody's house, then we send our normal guys. But for the new guys, we bring them in, we send them to work. And if you can do the work, then we can figure out everything else after. We'll make sure your background is clear, you got your paperwork you need, and a lot of times we'll help them with that if they need it. But our vetting process is let's go to work, and we'll figure out the rest once we get there. Because like I say, it's hard to really just truly interview these guys because of the type of work they do. A lot of them are subs to where they at one time they were used to bouncing from job to job. But we've been in a situation, thank God, to where all of our guys work for us full time. So We dictate schedules. We don't have to, if a customer calls me and say they want a, full remodel, I don't have to call a carpenter and say, hey, what day you available to go to this lady house or my flooring guy, because they work for us. So we dictate the schedule. And so going on subject a little bit, that's one thing that we have against a lot of companies, is that all of our guys are basically, they work for us. So they don't go to Timmy's Construction one day and then now they at Hernando's Flooring. They work for us every day. And so that's
crazy.
Yeah, that's a competition out here, man. But that's a a bonus that we have, a benefit that we got.
So how do you keep your turnover rate down? How are we keeping these guys? Because Hernando might be paying $3 more than Magnolia, but
You're right.
I'm staying loyal to Magnolia. Why?
We keep them happy. Keep them happy. We keep them paid. Yeah. And so, and when I say keep them paid, I'm not saying that we don't pay the top salary in our industry, but you're gonna get your check on Friday. You don't have to worry about coming chase us down, because a lot of these subs, what they do, especially in the Hispanic community, is these guys will come down and have a big, nice project. They'll put these guys to work, put them on a 2-week payout on your check, and now they're going to the next state. And so one thing that all of our guys know, and they'll even tell us, look, we know that we don't get paid the best, but we offer that flexibility to where if they got to put their kids on the bus in the morning, they can put their kids on the bus in the morning. If they can't work one day, we're not going to completely fill a spot. We giving those out. We give them breaks, just like we would want breaks as well. We don't treat them, like just workers. We don't even address them as workers. And so we keep them happy, and we keep their paychecks. Because we got some guys one guy specifically that he's left a couple times, and he'll come back to me being owed $15,000 from other companies that he's going to work for. So that's the two things we do. We try to keep them happy, and we keep them paid. That's the best thing I can say.
Pay your people.
I see you guys do a lot of outings with your people as well. How important is that? And it's not just the workers; it's their families, their kids, and
It's very important. I mean, morale is everything. Yeah. And so because we have times where just like how we have, I don't want to say black on black crime, but black on black issues between the races, Hispanics have the same situation. And so we do that for one, because we want to see who mesh well together, who can have a conversation together. Because if they enjoy each other outside of work, they'll enjoy each other at work. And that helps them get their job done a lot quicker. If we go and paint a room together and I don't like you, I'm going to go in the other room while you're in that room, and then I got to come back and we crossing back and forth. But if I already like you, we're going to hit this room together and we're going to move on throughout the house. And so morale is real big for us to make sure that, our teams know that we appreciate them. We love them. We have done a lot, and I won't even talk about it all, but we give back to them people like crazy. We give back to them like crazy, and, we just, morale is everything for us.
When they working, y'all working.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna skip ahead, man, to what I'm very impressed with. Kenny texted me and told me whenever y'all started building the first house, he's like, man, we got a property, we got a house off the ground, we foundation going. You guys went from painting to now building 4 houses. What does that process look like? First of all, when did it come about? Why? And what does that process look like?
I would say, well, I say like this. This year was our first year actually building a home, but the process started like 3 years ago. Yes, talking to banks, I'm trying to see like what information we need to have in place to make sure that the deal go through. Of course, credit is big. Cash flow is another thing that I would say helps out a lot. Because sometimes you may go in a situation where your credit might not be strong enough, but if you can show that your cash flow is good, the bank can like, hey, look, they got the money to do whatever they need to do. Let's just try to see, but of course, trial and error. Um, just running to different hurdles throughout, these last couple of years. And we finally, got things straight on with, again, like the regular work that we do, painting, housekeeping, remodeling. Once we realized that, it feels like, man, let's I think it's time for us to build. And so I ran into one of my old coworkers. He's real big in Baton Rouge, and he was just saying, "Hey, man, try this bank. I don't, I know this guy. He's a good guy. He gave a chance on me." I'm like, okay. And then I think Philip got a contact from another one of our barber, and he just never called. And once I made the effort to go to the bank and talk to him, and man saying, let's go have lunch, and went to CC's, and we talked for about maybe an hour. Always have your paperwork with you as far as balance sheets and profit and loss statement. That's big, because they know that if you can happily show them that, hey, this is what I got. Can you help me? They can see that, okay, these guys are serious. And once we had that conversation, they sent us the paperwork. And
so what's this guy, banker?
He's a senior vice president of a bank. Yes.
So you sat down with the senior vice president of a bank, told him what you were trying to do.
Yes.
Now, but I do want you to point out though that this was a 3-year process of finding a bank that'll take a chance on. So when he said it started 3 years ago, this is 3 years of going to bank after bank after bank, and we got the cash in the bank, we doing good, the business is making money, and we go in there, and they all excited, hey, come on, let's do it, and we go sit in front of them, and then we get sent out the door. Yep. So this is 3 years of that.
Yeah. I said another gym too. Don't always go to the big name banks, because they don't. You bank with these people, and you deposit all this money into them, and they don't really offer you any type of service other than banking, checking, savings, and they might give you a credit card. These smaller banks, I would say, always start at a smaller bank and build that relationship. Relationship is everything. And once you build that relationship, they know what's coming in and out of their bank every single day. So now they ain't got to go and say, we don't know these guys, let's just take a chance. Whatever happens, it goes from that to, we see what's coming in their bank account each and every day. I believe they can do whatever they are asking for. And so I think once now we switched over to a smaller bank, now they're gonna see, the funds going in and out, and that's how, you just build that bond, build that relationship, and that's how be able to scale the business.
Yeah. So we go to this VP. We talk to him, and we're trying to get funding, correct?
Correct.
Funding to cover what, the full costs of the project?
The full construction loan. So that's to build the foundation, or if you have to clear the land first, clear the land, build the foundation, frame it, and build it.
So clearing, I didn't know that. So clearing can be included in your construction costs of building your home? Yes. Okay, so we go to this guy, he obviously approves the funding.
Yes.
He approves the funding. Now, where are we finding a builder? Is that a Magnolia responsibility, or are we subcontracting? Like, who's the contractors out here? DR Horton?
Yeah.
Getting guys like that?
Yeah. No, we're the builders.
Yeah, we're the builders.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Yeah, so for us, I mean, all general contractors, especially when you get into the building and development phase, you hire subs. So we hire subs for framing, we hire subs for electrical, subs for plumbing, and all that kind of stuff. And then going back to what I was saying earlier, with us having a lot of guys in-house, after that stage, everything else we do is in-house. So we're able to cut our costs substantially, because we don't have to pay $2.25 a square foot for a guy to come and install some flooring, because all of our guys are in-house. But just going back to the bank real quick is one thing that I thought you were gonna mention or hit on is just the resiliency that it takes to get this funding. It ain't easy. And so I don't want to skip over that like we just walked into a bank finally, because even when we went to the bank that gave us the approval now, it wasn't the terms that we wanted to be.
Right.
And so we had to we created the deal. We forced that deal. They didn't say, oh, it's great, let's come on in, I'm gonna give y'all $2 million. We went back and created it, because I remember I got the text myself. Hey Philip, I went to back office, they're not gonna be able to help you. Y'all need to go to another bank. Let's talk about that. Yeah, we didn't finally, it opened up. It got to the point for us where it's like, we done took enough no's, which for us, no ain't an option. We use no as next option. We ain't no such thing as no. And so when the bank look at the paper, they say no, okay, cool, let's go down the street to the next option. And so when we got to that bank, and he told us no, it's like, okay, I hear you. You about to give us this money. And I don't mean to talk ballsy or boastfully, but that's really what it was. It's like, no, we didn't did this long enough. This business, we see this business is growing. You can see the fund, you see the P&L, you see the balance sheet. Enough is enough. Like, what do you need? And he still didn't owe us nothing, but I went in there with that attitude as enough is enough, man. We know that we have what we need. So going back to the name situation, if you don't believe in that, you see in that paperwork, just I need you to believe in me and take a chance on me. On top of what I need to do to players financially to show you that I'm serious about this. So it wasn't just okay, let me give them a chance. It was another no. It was a no, we can't help y'all. Y'all need to go find another bank. But it was us going back saying no to you. Yeah. No, you ain't gonna tell me no. What can we do to make this deal work? And so we had to pledge an additional amount of money to basically cover the cost of construction for them to give us their first deal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that goes back.
It's gonna be something a lot of people look up too, because when you think about a bank giving you a loan, you go in on a very small scale. You go in, you apply, you get some money. Mm-hmm. You guys had to give some money.
Yeah, give some money to get some money. Yes. Yeah. So it ain't as easy as you think. It can be done. You know, if we did, anybody can do it, but it ain't as easy as you think.
So we go in, we get the money. We start building right away.
Probably about 30, 45 days. I mean, we were so anxious, man. We were off to the ground racing. You know, we felt confident in what we could do. We felt confident in the product that we were going to put together. We had, like I said, we had already been doing additions and building little small apartments. And so we'd already been doing little small projects. So we knew that we had what it took. It was a matter of the bank giving us the money to do it. So once we got there, we had already had a piece of land that we had bought 2 years prior from my buddy, Stephen. And so we had already had that. So when we go to the bank, they're like, okay, well, they have the land, so we'll use that as your collateral. So that's one thing I didn't know nothing about. So when we were getting ready to close on the deal, we trying to figure out when this HUD come out, how we gonna come up with $10,000, $15,000 to take to this closing, and they were able to use our land as collateral. Another thing that we want to point out real quickly is the fact that we were able to kind of leverage two banks at one time to be able to fund our first two constructions were by two different banks at the same time. So we literally we closed on both deals the same day, and we're building both of them consecutively.
Wow. So what were the goals for the first properties? And how many properties y'all have now that just built?
Well, we got two so far that's completed. One that'll be done in about a month. So another one starting.
What are the goals for them? Are we building to sell? Building to what are we doing with them?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna let him speak on it. But we building for the best deal. Yeah. So in real estate, and I'm not a real estate guru, I'll say that. But in real estate, there's always more than one exit plan. So there's a lot of people you can build houses and build or renovate, no matter how you're doing, whatever space you're in. But you can build it. You can do a refi, pull some cash out, put a tenant in it, and that way you already got your capital back out, and now your tenant's paying the mortgage. You can do that. You can build just to sell for pure profit. And so, or you can just do or lease it without doing a refi situation. So you got a lot of different options you can do as long as you get that construction loan transferred. But for us, we do what makes the most sense. And so, at the advice of our CPA, a lot that we've learned in terms of, there's the what do they call? What's the tax called? Capital gains tax. Capital gains tax that a lot of people try to avoid. Basically, if you make over a certain amount of money, your tax rate goes up a little bit higher. So if you make $40,000, $50,000 now, I think it's like 35% that they charge. So what we did is we do the math. So it's like we estimate what taxes we would pay on that, capital gains taxes, and we estimate what it would do if we just sold it and paid those taxes versus sold and refi is what I'm trying to say. And whatever makes the most sense, we go with that angle first. Not saying that ain't gonna work. It ain't always gonna work, but that's the first option we hit, and then we'll fall back into the second one if that one don't work.
So, man, like I said, piggybacking off of him, again, trial and error. We going to two situations where we plan to sell both. So one house, actually, the second house actually sold. It's the first house that we actually currently still own. And you go into a situation where you build in this certain zip code, and you thinking that okay, it should just sell real quick. Mm-hmm. And with the market that's going on right now in real estate, it's been a lot slower. Things are going crazy, but you go into a situation where now with a construction loan is 12 months, and so we are approaching that 12 months in a couple of months, and so it's like you start to think like, all right, are we still going to keep it on for sale, or are we going to have to put a tenant in? And now we had a situation where the fork in the road is like, okay, if we don't get, you know, no showings or anything else by this date, we're just going to go and we're going through the refinancing process right now. And so that's the decision that we make on the first home because of just not able to, sell it, and we just don't want to be in a situation where like we get to the 10th month or the 12th month and it's still not sold, and we trying to hurry up and do the refinance pricing so we don't get penalized for it. So I would say just make sure you have that in place first. If you want to decide to rent, so if you have to rent, you have to refi, or you just want to flat out and sell it. So that's what we're going through right now. With what we're building, and then on our third home that we have, we got an interested buyer, but again, we have to see the contract, and if that don't work out, then we just have to refinance and just go for pull the equity out of there and keep moving. But even with this house, we can't even really pull no equity out of it because of you know, the bank will only give you, between 75 to 90% loan to value. And so when they do that, we coming out of our pocket 10 grand, and it's like, you're not going to win them all, and again, it's trial and error. We just make sure that that's the next deal, that we don't make that, make that mistake anymore.
Understood. So we're coming to, I'm going to shift a little bit. I'm going to ask you this specifically, Kenny. Married man, right? Married man. How long you been married?
I have been married since 2019, so that's 6 years.
How important is it for your mate, your wife? Phil, I'll ask you this too, because you've been in long standing. How important is it for your spouse or your mate or your partner to support you when you make that decision to say, I'm quitting the job and I'm going to work for myself? Because we know that there's some women out there, our partners, you quitting that good job, them benefits. There's a lot of doubt. So how important is that partner?
I would say you gotta have that relationship with your wife. She should know your not really your every move, but she should know like the things that um that you're going through in life, the things that you're really passionate about, and really just somebody that's really on your side. I will always say listen. Sometimes they speak things in you that you don't see in yourself. And so I would say that's one, well, a couple of reasons. I would say, and just that relationship, man, and just being open and being vulnerable and just really just letting her know, like, hey, this is what I want to do. Are you with me or not? And sometimes, like you say, you might get some pushback. And I did, but when she understood and she knew who I am as a man, she was like, I want you to the end. So we here.
Yeah, I wouldn't say the same. It's about trust from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you got to show them from the beginning that you are the man that you supposed to be and say that you're gonna be. You can't have issues along the way and not showing up in ways that you should have shown up, and then come up and say, hey, I'm gonna start a business and I'm gonna quit my job. And so it just don't. Yeah, it just don't work that way. So you got to be that way. You got to be the same way as an employee as when you own your own business. Actually times two when you own your own business. And so for me, it was a simple conversation. I'm done. I ain't going back. And I was always one that supported my household fully. So I'm sure it was, for her a little uncomfortable, but it was never a doubt in her mind. She never asked me how you gonna do this or what you gonna do. It was none of that. It was, hey, I'm getting up, give me a day and a half to go cry this off, and I'm going to work. So to be honest, my conversation was short and sweet. It was short and sweet, but I think going back to what Kenny said is we had already had that established trust to where it just didn't matter what happened, we were going to be okay. And so, it was a quick conversation for me, but, like I said, you got to show that you're the man before it get to the situation to where it's really time for you to show that you're the man, because then they already know that regardless of what's going on, they're going to be okay. Because that's your backbone more than just conversation, but if they working, that's your backbone financially too. So you also got to be the kind of man to where you're strong enough to understand that when you're starting your business or you're going off full time like that, that 50-50, that whole little conversation everybody argue about, them salary responsibilities are gonna change potentially too. So if you are in a household to where y'all split bills or whatever it is, because everybody do things different, then that's a whole different conversation that I can't speak to because I didn't, thank God, and it's not bragging, but I didn't split bills with her. So I think it's kind of one of those things where it's out of sight, out of mind. I've never had to worry about it, so why would I worry about it right now? So I can't speak to like a conversation that you would have to have because I didn't have to have that, but it was a simple conversation for me. But just to bring that to a close, you gotta show who you are before the lights come on.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's a big jump. Last question, final question. What do you guys, I know some people like to manifest out loud what they're going to do and see it come to fruition. Some people like to keep it silent, say people going to see it when they see it. I don't need to put it out to the atmosphere until it's done. The results going to tell the story. If you guys would like to speak to this, where do you see Magnolia in the grand scheme of things?
I let him, because I like to be the private person, so I keep mine to myself. But I know he gonna.
That's why I said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on both sides. I mean, 'cause we're not boastful of bragging people. Like I always say, we got a long way to go, man. We just scratched the surface on a few things that the Lord has allowed us to do. And so this is while it's been 8 years, this is still just the beginning.
Yeah.
We got a long ways to go. So we're not the ones that walk around like we own a business. We don't do like guys do with the word own plastered across their shirt. It probably took 3 years before people even knew that we owned this business.
Yeah.
We're not them type of people. So, but we just want to keep working, keep growing, keep grinding. We want to bring in additional team members and stuff like that. So we want to continue to grow our multifamily side while also growing our development side. Specifically on that side is it's scary to people that don't dream big enough, but we want to start building neighborhoods. Yeah. And we feel like we're ready now. But it takes time. It takes time to get the bank behind you. It takes time to get the community behind you. Because I always go back to conversation that we had with buddies and friends when we were in year one and saying, hey, with me not having nothing to show them, I'm like, look, this is what I'm about to do. This is what we're about to do. If y'all want to be a part of it, you got the opportunity while it's on the ground level. Whatever you got, bring it to the pot and let's go and do it. And we got nothing from nobody. But I get that, when you don't have nothing to show nobody what I'm investing into, you don't have nothing but what you sitting and saying. So we've just started to scratch the surface of what we're doing. So, but like I say, we want to get to start building neighborhoods, but that's going to take a little while to kind of get the bank behind us and get some more funding in place. But that's the goal, just to continue to grow the multifamily side while also growing out the development side. And I think later on in life, we talked about property management, some other stuff like that. So we got a lot that's coming, but we're at the process right now, just trying to stabilize what we have, make sure the team members that we have are at the best level that they can perform, make sure they got everything that they need, because you have to make sure that your paperwork and your business is solid when it's this size before you start talking about full scale. And so for us, we want to be able to control our growth. We don't want a year to come in where we got, $2, $3, $4, $5, $8 million worth of work coming in, and we're just not prepared for that. That's how business is done. So we take our time with it. We're okay. We're comfortable, and we enjoy the ride.
You guys leave no room for follow-up questions, man, because y'all answer so fluently. Man, where can people find y'all, man?
You can check us out on Instagram, Magnolia Property Solutions LLC, book Magnolia Property Solutions, and our website is magnoliapropertysolutions.com.
I appreciate you, gentlemen, man.
Appreciate it.